Hey, Thinkrily, thanks so much for joining us again on the podcast today. It's always my privilege to be a part of this and to host this. I'm Eddie Wilson, the founder of Think Realty, and I really enjoy bringing great guests to you and bringing great content to you. As a third-generation real estate investor, to me, that was my passion and why we brought Think Realty to life, was I wanted you to kind of see everything going on in the real estate space. So before I jump into the guests, I want to say a quick thank you to our podcast sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Real Property Management. Working with the right property management company can put more money in your pocket, not less. Real Property Management provides a higher standard of property management to make sure you're maximizing the return on your investments. Experience the real difference with Real Property Management. Visit realpropertymgt.com. That's realpropertymgt.com. Today's guest is Michelle Thomas, and she is with CNB Custody. Michelle, thanks so much for being a part of the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to join the podcast.
Yeah, where are you coming from today?
I am actually in Seneca, Kansas, which is a little bitty town about an hour and a half outside of Kansas City.
Well, we're actually not that far away. I'm actually filming from Kansas City, which is the home of Think Realty, since I started all the way back in 2013. So very good.
Yeah. We've got a nice, hot, humid weather we can share with each other today.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from Florida, so I'm pretty much used to hot and humid. Well, let's jump into the world of IRA investing. Being a third generation real estate investor, this is a vehicle that's been talked about in my family for generations, right? Like this is something we've been doing. I've had a self-directed IRA for years. And I want to just jump into the benefits of investing inside of your self-directed IRA. And really where I want to go with this specifically is that most real estate investors get into a real estate investment with this like idea of either cash flow or a massive return, and they never think about taxation on the backside. And to me, one of the greatest values of the self-directed IRA and taking control of your future through investing through these vehicles is the benefits with taxation. So do you mind just kind of like give us an overview of IRA investing and then tell us what the benefits are specific to tax?
Yeah, really, the reason you would want to use an IRA to invest in real estate is when you're doing it purely for an investment purpose, not when you're looking for income, not when you're, trying to make immediate money off of it, but when you're really using it for maybe a retirement. You want that long-term investment goal. So the big thing on that is no capital gains. And when you look at that, no capital gains, you don't have to worry about doing 1031 exchanges when you buy, sell a property, no capital gains right off. Your second big tax benefit is no immediate tax, at least, on your rental income. So you're bringing income in through rent, through whichever way you're making income on this. It's coming into your IRA and it's staying in that tax protected account. If you're lucky enough that you're able to do this with a Roth IRA, there's a potential you will never be taxed on that rental income. You keep it in that IRA as long as you've had it in there for 5 years and you're over 59 and a half when you're taking it out, no taxes on all that income you've made through the entire lifespan of the IRA. If you've got it in a traditional IRA, the big thing that you've got there is you're not getting taxed on it immediately when it's coming in. So you are taking that income, you're reinvesting it, you're earning money off of that income without any of that being taxed until you take it out. And then when you take it out in your retirement years, you'll be taxed as regular income, but you've been able to let that grow and compound through the years without that tax, which is a great advantage.
So good. And I always say that the holy grail of investing is the Roth IRA, because especially if you're in your 30s or 40s, to start now and to contribute as often as you can, right, annually, and at the max is one of the greatest investment vehicles, I believe, in our generation. What is the max that someone can contribute right now annually?
It depends on your age, but you can contribute $7,000 if you're under age 50 or $8,000 if you're over. And all you have to do to be able to qualify to contribute is have earned income. Mm-hmm. So I personally have kids that are in high school with jobs. They're contributing to Roth IRAs now and starting to build that up, so that as they become able to invest in things like this, they've got that income in there built up, ready to go. And one thing you think, I can only put in that much money per year. How am I ever going to buy a rental property with that money? The great thing about it is when you buy it, you don't have to fully fund it with your IRA. You can partner with a spouse or a sibling or anyone and put all your IRA funds together to make that purchase.
Yeah.
Um, you can also do partial IRA money, partial personal funds, and have some of that investment with your tax advantages and some of that investment with earnings that you're getting immediately. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of flexibility in that to make it a great opportunity for even younger investors.
One of the big strategies I have, and I often talk about this from stage, is um, people do not know how to successfully get to retirement. They just don't have a plan, right? Like the average person, in America today, um, from zero to death, has $83,000 in their retirement account, and that includes like the big monster, retirement accounts, all the way down to somebody who's just barely contributing from their 401k and getting it from their employer. And the AARP says that you need 1.5 roughly million dollars to retire, but that's if you own your own home, you don't have any bills, right? Like 1.5 is actually a very small amount if you're going to try to truly retire in your 60s. So really, I think you need somewhere between $2 and $3 million to successfully retire. So the strategy that I constantly use in my IRA is I build up my Roth IRA by contributing my $7,000 a year. I've been doing this since I was in my 30s. I'm in my mid 40s now. And every 5 years, if I can contribute into a multifamily investment, I've been able to double my money every 4 to 5 years. Well, the thing is if you can get $100,000 into a multifamily investment, and you double your money every 4 to 5 years, you are at $3 million in 20 years, right? Like, and we have to think of investing as a long-term game, right? Like if you start in your 60s, you have to take a lot more risk. When you start in your children, the risk has to be so much lower. So there's so many creative ways to do this. I love your idea of, investing from your IRA, also investing maybe through your personal savings account or with other IRA investors. Typically that vehicle is you're using some sort of an LLC or some sort of a structure that has an operating agreement that tells you how to repay that, investment capital back out. But there's a million ways to do it. So as we're talking about this, do you have any case studies or, maybe stories of people that have had success by investing in their IRAs that you could share?
One of my favorite investment stories that we have going on right now is a gentleman that purchased, I believe it was a 40-acre plot, undeveloped land, 40-acre plot. He took that and divided it into 41-acre plots of land to develop. And he's selling those plots from his IRA. He bought that, of course, with IRA money. He's selling them from his IRA one at a time and putting his Roth IRA from a small investment, selling these for so much more now that they're plots, just bringing loads of income into that Roth IRA that isn't taxable, no capital gains, selling them off one at a time. He's had great success in selling those lots also.
Yeah.
And it's a great story.
That's awesome.
Bringing in lots and lots of money.
And, I always talk to real estate investors and they're always worried about the arm's length transactions and can I do this and can I not do this? And to me, like I always go into my IRA investing as a passive investor, right? As long as I'm always considering myself as a passive investor and I'm letting the money work for me, I'm not actually like controlling the deal. I'm not doing something with the people that are closest to me in relationship. And so like if they were to use you guys, do you help them understand what arm's length transactions are and what are prohibitive transactions?
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to watch as best we can to make sure you don't get into a prohibited transaction. In the end, it's on you, but we're going to give you the rules. We're going to say, you can't do this, you can do this. Just the straight out, you're buying this home, you cannot go stay in it for a week. You're buying this home, you cannot do the repairs on it. So yeah, it sounds scary when you look at all the prohibited transactions, but you're exactly right. Look at it from a passive investment. Look at it as not something that you're going to go all gung-ho and do everything yourself, but as just I want to buy this, I want to receive rental income. If you're doing that, if a property manager will also really help with that because they're going to be doing all of the work, the rent collection, everything for you. So that really helps keep it at arm's length if you're able to have a property manager on that. But yeah, we'll guide you through If you're doing something that it's like, oh, you absolutely can't do that, we're going to let you know.
Yeah, that's great. We don't have a lot of time left. Is there any just like thing that you would push a real estate investor to take action on? Obviously, you're in this self-directed IRA world. What advice would you give to a real estate investor that's listening today? Our average investor right now on Think Realty has maybe one or two or three rental properties. They're not doing this full time. It's usually a supplementary activity. What advice would you give them?
I think the biggest thing right now is it's difficult to buy a property
Mhm.
with interest rates being what they are. You have to take out a loan. If you have a pool of money in a 401k or an IRA that you can use, it is like an entirely new financing source for you.
Mhm.
You may not have to take that loan at that 8% interest or whatever you're getting. If you're getting a loan not from a bank, you might be paying more than that. You can do this interest free if you've got that money. You've
Mhm.
got a whole other financing pool right there that you already have. Take that, use that money to make your purchase. You're avoiding those interest rates and you're getting income tax advantaged. So that's just in this market right now, that's a huge thing to look at.
For sure. I always say that typically the two things that are eroding your wealth are taxes and interest, right? When it comes to real estate, it's actually
Absolutely.
eroding the wealth. And so if you can invest in a tax-free environment or at least a tax-advantaged environment, depending on what your structure is, and you can invest in the absence of interest. So interest and taxation, that compounding effect over a 10 or 15 or 20-year period is massive, right? And you may not see it in 2 or 3 years, but you will notice a massive difference in 15 or 20 years. And so I
Absolutely.
love that. I love that advice. Michelle, thank you so much. How do they find out more about what you do and how do they find out more about your company?
Yeah, jump on our website, www.cnbcustody.com. There's a whole section there geared towards real estate investing. There's a guide to the prohibited transactions. All our contact information is out there. We've got several specialists that are just dedicated to discussing these types of transactions that are more than happy to help you out.
That's great. And real quick, what sets you apart from they've looked at maybe two or three or five other IRA companies? What sets you guys apart? What can they expect from you guys?
I think the best thing is our customer service. A lot of these, you're going to call these larger companies that you're going to get put on hold and you're going to press one for this, press two for that. You call us, we're answering the phone. You've got a real estate expert right there, answer the phone, talk to you, step you through it all the way. Um, and we have a very competitive fee schedule for this type of thing. So absolutely give us a call, see what we can do, explore your options with us. You're gonna be really happy you did.
That's awesome. If you only knew how powerful the statement you just said that you're actually going to get interaction, somebody that cares, because that this is the nature of it. You guys, your business model, and to the real estate investor out there, their model, they they're not a bank, right? They're not making a ton of money off of. They're making a tiny amount of money off of the transaction fees, and so that has to go a long way. And so a lot of the other companies really skimp on the customer service angle. And so what she said is just very, very powerful. So I would definitely recommend you guys go check them out and reach out to Michelle and team and see if their company is right for you. Thanks so much, Michelle, for
Yep.
being a part of the show today.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate that you're having us today.
Yep, thank you.
Okay.
One quick thank you to our sponsor one more time. This episode is brought to you by Real Property Management, working with the right property management company. Put more money in your pocket, not less. Real Property Management provides a higher standard of property management to make sure you're maximizing the return on your investments. Experience the real difference with Real Property Management. Visit realpropertymgt.com, realpropertymgt.com. And the reason that the property management piece is so important to what we were just talking about specific to IRAs is you have to have one. You can't manage these properties on your own if you're investing in the IRA. So you have to have symbiotic companies like this that can help you. And I do this a lot. In my portfolio of over 4,000 doors, I have a ton of real estate inside of my self-directed IRA, and I would have it no other way. I'm a huge, huge advocate, and I appreciate CNB Custody for being a part of the show today. Also, if you haven't also checked out our Think Realty Plus program, building this company 13 years ago as a third generation real estate investor, I just wanted to provide you access to information, content, great investors, investment opportunities. And that's why we built Think Realty. And so we've got the magazine that comes to your doorstep or it's on the shelves of Barnes & Noble. We've got conferences every year. We've got virtual conferences every year. We've got resident expert phone calls every single month. And that's the Think Realty Plus program. All in, it's $14.99 a month if you use the code LAUNCH on thinkrealty.com. For me, it's not about charging some massive amount of money. It's about trying to provide companionship along the way so you have the access to the information and the people that it's going to take to be successful in real estate. And that's what Think Realty is all about. So go check out our Think Realty Plus program on thinkrealty.com and use the keyword LAUNCH. And we'd love to have you as a part of the program and see you at one of our upcoming conferences. Have a great day, Think Realty. Happy investing.